Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here to some more Fan Fridays, and it looks like the NFE shenanigans are in full force. So let's go and see what happens. Yeah, I mean, Duskull. Is it Eviolite? Paras? Is that even possible? And Magnemite, well, we know what Magnemite is going to do and the craziness that unfolds from there. But yeah, Duskull. Like, I understand Dusclops because that's just an absurd Eviolite Pokemon. So is Duskull still going to be rocking some Eviolite, and is the opponent going to be able to outpace it with the Minior? Like, where's the setup coming into play? What's the strategy? I understand Paras probably just plays very similar to Parasect, but I don't know what else is going to happen. So Minior is going to go for the Shell Smash. Opponent's going straight for the Juggler, wants to win. Are we going to see the Duskull take advantage of these stats in any way or do something about it? So that's going to be Minior into the White Herb, so still tanky. Like, Minior's crazy like that. And Duskull has the Trick Room, though. Okay. So, at least sacrificing itself potentially for the Trick Room. And then Destiny Bond. Oh, so troll. You know, the NFE Pokemon, they don't have to do anything. They just have to kind of look helpless and then wreck the opponent like this. Yep. Alright, so Trick Room Destiny Bond. A level 1 Mimic, you can do it. A lot of other Pokemon can do it. Apparently, Duskull does it as well. I'm guessing there's a potential for it to be tanky enough to where you can get away with that. And now we have PARAS. So what is PARAS going to bring to the table against a Marshadow? I mean, it's still got that Trick Room advantage, so Spore, question mark, Profit. So Marshadow's going to use Shadow Sneak, and PARAS survives, so even with, like, Technician and all that. Is it, like, I'm guessing Duskull has the Eviolite, PARAS has something, and I don't know, maybe Focus Sash? Focus Sash, Magnemite wouldn't have that because that's sturdy berry juice. So Paras is going to get the sub, which makes me think that it isn't Focus Sash either. I don't know what the Paras is up to, but it looks like it's about to do some work because it just got the Spore, has the Leech Seed, has sub, and now we're dealing with Sub Seed Paras. Huh. And it also, like, yeah, I guess you just keep spamming Spore on anticipation that they wake up, and then you get enough health back to where you just go for the Leech Seed healing. And then, as a low health Pokemon that's not fully evolved, you're gaining a lot off of that Leech Seed. Huh. And then Marshadow's actually getting a lot of sleep. So yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is, just spamming Spore. Like, you know what? He could wake up right now. And you know what? I'm not going to let that happen, because if he wakes up, breaks sub, well then you Spore him, and then you reset the sub, and then you keep spamming Spore. It's viable. It works. And then you can protect just so you don't have to deal with the RNG as much. So protecting the wake up turn, it's Sub-Seed Paras. I don't know what else to say about it. I love seeing these weird substitute strats. Like, we saw the Klefki, we saw the Cottony, we see, like, all kinds of weird NFE-ness. And, like, okay, cool. You switch out the Marshadow. What are you going to get out of that? You go into Blaziken. I mean, Blaziken isn't going to change much, because, yeah, it's like, I guess the only thing you do is switch out. No, you can't. Like, switch out on a Protect turn, but then you still Spore, the opponent goes sleep, you just risk the sub on, like, not a first turn wake up or something. Even then, that doesn't matter. He's not even attacking because you're slower. So now Paras gets the Leech Seed, and boom. And, like, I guess you just Protect stall. You wait for that sub to get broken on the Spore turn. Kind of it. So yeah, it would have to be a first turn wake up to break the sub, and then you're not already spamming Spore, but the reason why you spam Spore is so that doesn't happen. We are watching a Paras dismantle a Blaziken and a Marshadow. Wow. So that's gonna be Flare Blitz, sub takes damage, sub's gonna fade, and if this was done properly, that should be a Spore anyways. Yeah? Yeah, and then you protect, and like, okay, so I guess if this is played well, depending on how much risk you take, how many turns the opponent's asleep, you should be able to get 2 KOs off of this. Because, like, you're setting up sub while they're asleep, and that's just eating up turns. They're guaranteed to be down for a certain amount of turns. You get that protect in there, so that's a little bit of extra damage. Like, you just don't, as long as you're using Spore on turn they wake up, or at least Substitute on turn they wake up, you should be fine. So then Paras gets a free sub right now. And then what you do is you throw out the Spore, and then you get a Leech Seed. And then you just work it down. Spectral Thief, I mean, it's going for damage. Oh! Spectral Thief hits through sub? I did not know that. That's not good. That's kind of a kink in these plans, but I mean, it still doesn't matter. I wonder if that was the opponent's plan. Switch into Blaziken, wear it down, get the switch, and then try to KO on Spectral Thief. But I mean, Paras still survived it. And now, again, like even with Spectral Thief being able to hit through sub, you just play it around to where the opponent should always be asleep. And after you protect and then reestablish, it should be okay. Withdrawing the Marshadow, but now you have an asleep Blaziken. So now it's one of these. Now it's one of these like, well, if I keep switching out, you're gonna run out of Leech Seed, or you can't Leech Seed forever. So I mean, goes into sub. But I mean, if Spectral is hitting through sub, then I don't see the point of subbing. Unless actually, the point of subbing is to waste a turn. That isn't wasting Spore, because Spore is valuable PP. I think it only has 10, so that means max Spore is 16. Sub is in that same realm, and then that's how that works. Yeah, that Spectral Thief hitting through Confusion hitting through sub really messes with everything. Is he going to switch out again after the Leech Seed? All right, it looks like that's what he's going for. So I mean, it technically soft PP stalls the Paras, and it wastes Spore. So yeah, you are getting that out of the way. But I mean, Marshadow's asleep. You get the Leech Seed down. You use Spore anyways, anticipating a wake up. And if he kept switching, depending on what happens, he's not progressing the sleep timer that much, so you are still giving Paras some Leech Seed opportunities. Against the Blaziken, you're safe to kind of tank the hit into predicting a Leech Seed. Against Marshadow, eventually you'll just heal up enough to be okay through a Spectral Thief, and that's going to be a wake up into Spectral Thief. Paras survives it, gets that little bit of tankiness, gets that Leech Seed. Leech Seed fails because it's already seeded, so it looks like the opponent... Like, I don't know where those predictions would come in. I would honestly, like, protect at every opportunity, just in case there's a stay-in versus a switch. This is very beneficial for the Marshadow, because that's the thing. Like, when you mess those games with the Marshadow, I wouldn't Leech Seed. I would always, like, get that Spore down, just keep spamming that. So if you're switching out Spore Pokemon, it wouldn't be the worst thing. But now Marshadow, that's going to suck for the sub. But Marshadow's almost dead. Because of circumstance. I guess you just go for the double protect. Yeah, double protect. It fails though. And Marshadow will land the Spectral Thief. I mean, dang, if it was any other Pokemon, Paras would have had that. And then it had the Blaziken as well. Yeah, like you just shouldn't have Leech Seed. Like, you know, the Leech Seed is going to happen. Getting the prediction on that Leech Seed, that's too little gains for too much risk. Switches out the Marshadow. Goes into the Blaziken though. I guess since Blaziken's asleep, you can't do the strats. But I mean, it's a double team Magnemite. We've already seen this. We see the double team stall, berry, recycle Magnemite until they miss. And then you get a free double team. And I brought in the asleep Blaziken. So you just keep double teaming. And eventually Blaziken can wake up, and that's when you Toxic and have recycle and all that. So I mean, this is I love this little modified strat. Because instead of just getting it once, you have potential for it multiple times, and then you RNG it. So Blaziken has the Earthquake, Magnemite's going to avoid, and then going to keep going for the double teams. Because you can keep going for the double teams. You can keep doing whatever you want till they land the hit. I love this Magnemite. I love this Magnemite so much. Flare Blitz, doesn't matter. Magnemite has Swagger. Swagger double team, because if the opponent's like trying, I don't even know what to say. I love this Magnemite. I was waiting for it. I knew it was going to happen, and then it happened, and I'm still very excited about it. So, I mean, the Paras was hype. The Paras worked. I'm just disappointed in that Spectral Thief. But yeah, now it's a 30% chance they don't hit you, on top of like a 60% chance they don't hit you. Flare Blitz comes through. Doesn't really matter too much, but okay, cool. We got hit. That's our Berry Juice pop. And now that's going to heal us up, so now we can just recycle, and we're in that recycle mechanic. We have the engine going for us, and then if the opponent misses a move, that's a free double team. That's a free Toxic. That's free anything. That's a free recycle. And then they hit themselves in confusion, or you recycle and they die to Toxic. So that means you still have your Berry Juice, and you do the same thing to the other opponent. Marshadow, if he lands a Spectral Thief, doesn't really matter. Like, if I'm trying to like think of the numbers properly here. If Marshadow gets Toxic, and there's already a Berry Juice alive from whatever's going on with Blaziken, you just throw the Toxic down to Marshadow. And also, Marshadow is actually super low on hit points as well. So one Toxic into Cycle Restall, or Cycle Stall, and you got it. Or and Berry Juice, you can do whatever with it. I think Berry Juice, people just use Berry Juice because it's like, oh yeah, no one ever uses this item. So Blaziken's gaining stats. It's speed boosting. It's doing those things. Snaps out of confusion. Goes for the Flare Blitz. Flare Blitz lands. I mean, that's when you, again, just go for another Swagger, or you go for anything. And then you just, like, you just play it. Yeah, you got the poison ticking in. So if Blaziken goes down on the poison turn, it should be good to go. I think Blaziken's ready to go down to poison. I wasn't paying attention to how many it has. Say, I don't even, just keep using double team. That's how this strat works. I love the Fear Magnemite, but then this is like next level Fear. And here, this is where we see it. This is where we see like the perfect, actually no, he's going to recycle, find it, so he needs to miss. All right, there we go. Let's say he's going to recycle and find it, but then you just keep doing that until Marshadow misses, and then you land the Toxic. And then Marshadow's done in 2 turns. I think. He's sitting on like 3/16. An 1/8-ish. So Marshadow's done after 2 turns. And Magnemite. That's going to be a Spectral Thief. Magnemite avoids. That's going to be a Toxic. You don't play those games. You already have enough evasion. You already have everything going for you. In this situation, you can play those games. Now they missed. It's like, all right, let's hit that Swagger. Swagger maybe hits himself in confusion. Actually, it doesn't matter because he's dead at the end of the turn anyways. That's going to be Spectral Thief. Magnemite avoids. Magnemite recycled. Just in case, I guess. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, Marshadow goes down. So you're free to do whatever you want, but that's going to be in the game. And there we go, guys. My favorite Magnemite moveset for the Fear. Maybe my favorite Fear moveset, just because it utilizes that double team and turns into hate. And then PARAS. It had it, guys. We know that PARAS had it, guys. Damn, I think the PARAS could have had it. Spore actually has 24 PP. You can just use that whenever you're slightly worried. I mean, remember PARAS from the anime? Remember how timid and frightened that thing was? You can play like that PARAS and still win. That's how cool this strategy is. So you got the Spore. Substitute has 16 PP, so it's going to be hard to PP stall that, even with switches. The Leech Seed, though, I could probably just look up Leech Seed, really. I didn't look up Leech Seed. I think that's also 10 or 15. So yeah, Leech Seed is still 10. I mean, max 16, though, so it's 1/8 per turn. If they don't immediately start switching from the beginning, that's 2 KOs. So yeah, like, at least with this, you get 2 KOs, but then the unlucky, unfortunate Spectral Thief bypasses Substitute. Sad, hate, unfortunate. I mean, PARAS still had some good survivals. If that was a Spore, you Spore, protect, wait for the switch, and then you just play it out, and you can still get away with it. So there we go, guys. It worked. Hope you guys enjoy this Fan Friday. Hope you have a great day, have a great week, have a great weekend, all of that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys next week. But that was pretty good.